What's the most disrespectful thing a teacher ever did to you? My 8th grade English teacher, Mrs. Patterson, publicly humiliated me in front of the entire class for writing a fake essay about my dad being deployed overseas. I'd written about how hard it was having my dad stationed in Afghanistan and how I missed him during holidays. Mrs. Patterson read it aloud to the class, then stopped halfway through and said, "This is clearly fiction. Nice try making up a sob story for a better grade." The whole class turned to stare at me while she continued, "Your father works at the grocery store downtown. I've seen him there myself. Stop lying for attention." I tried to explain that my stepdad worked at the store, but my real dad was military. She cut me off and said, "I don't appreciate students who make up military service for sympathy. It's disrespectful to real military families." Then she gave me a 0 and made me sit in the hallway for the rest of class. I came home crying that day and told my mom what happened. She was furious because she'd specifically noted on my enrollment forms that my biological father was deployed and my stepdad was my daily guardian. Mom called the school immediately, but Mrs. Patterson doubled down. She told the principal that I was a known liar and that she'd personally seen my father at the grocery store, so there was no way he could be overseas. The situation got worse when Mrs. Patterson started treating me differently in class. She'd make comments about attention-seeking behavior and students who make up stories. Other kids started avoiding me because they thought I was a liar. 3 weeks later, my dad came home on emergency leave because his unit had taken casualties. He was still in his combat uniform when he picked me up from school early for a family emergency. Mrs. Patterson saw us in the hallway and her face went completely white. My dad, still in his desert camouflage with his name tape and unit patches visible, asked her if she was the teacher who'd called his daughter a liar. She started stammering about misunderstandings, but my dad wasn't having it. In his calm military voice, he said, "Ma'am, my daughter has been through enough stress with me being deployed. She didn't need you adding to it." The principal came out to see what was happening and immediately recognized my dad's uniform and deployment patches. Mrs. Patterson tried to explain, but the principal was already apologizing profusely. My dad pulled out his military ID, deployment orders, and photos from his base in Afghanistan. He handed them to Mrs. Patterson and said, "Next time, maybe ask questions before you call a military child a liar." The best part was when my dad asked to address her class. He walked in wearing his full combat gear and told the students about military families and deployment separations. Mrs. Patterson had to stand there while he corrected every wrong thing she'd said about me. After he left, Mrs. Patterson quietly changed my essay grade to an A and offered me extra credit to make up for the emotional distress. She never made another comment about my family situation, but the real justice came at the end of the year, when parents filled out teacher evaluations. My mom had told other military families at the base about what happened, and several parents requested their kids be moved out of Mrs. Patterson's class. Word spread through the military community about a teacher who didn't believe deployment stories. Mrs. Patterson's reputation was ruined among military families, which was bad news since we lived near a major base. She transferred to a different school district the following year after her class enrollment numbers dropped significantly.